Today we are talking about the case of Raymond Steven Jan-Erick Smith, a 37-year South African man who was so brazen that when he was caught by the police, he was caught literally red-handed. He was washing his blood-stained clothes. Now, Raymond Smith, he was a well-to-do man, he was well-dressed, and he had a really good demeanor about him. And he would pose as a potential home buyer. We know that he drove around in a nice car. But in fact, Raymond wasn't looking to buy houses. When he was checking out property listings in Property 24, as well as other property sites, he was looking at the valuables that were present in those pictures because he wanted to take them. Now, we know that being a real estate agent in South Africa is an extremely dangerous job. Women especially are targeted by criminals, but Raymond seemed to have a different modus operandi. His modus operandi was that he would almost befriend the homeowners and build trust with them before carrying out his acts. Now, he targeted a couple, an elderly couple in Centurion, Johannesburg, in a suburb known as Lyttelton Manor. And we know that he saw the listings online. He made contact with the real estate agent and he visited the property on three occasions. He visited first on January the 16th, as well as January the 20th. And then he finally came back on January the 27th when he committed his nefarious acts. And we know that he arrived at around 6 o'clock with the intention of robbing the couple. And the couple who were living there, they were an elderly couple. Their names were Gerald Cantello, he was 74 years old, as well as his partner Lilian Janson, 71-year-old. But what I think is that Raymond did not know that there were other people on the property. Because you see, as soon as the elderly man opened the door, Raymond assaulted him and forced him into the toilet where he tied him up with cable ties and he stuck a rubber ball in the man's mouth. So what I think is that this guy came prepared. He almost had like a robbery kit. And after he did that, right, his partner, Cantello's partner, heard the commotion and she came to come investigate, this 71-year-old woman. And she was also tied up with a rubber ball put in her mouth. Now, we know that the elderly man, Gerald Cantello, his son was living on the premises and they heard the commotion because I imagine there was a fair bit of screaming, a fair bit of commotion, and they came to come and investigate his son, Grant James Cantello, as well as his wife Heidi. They were 47 years old. They were really young. They came to come investigate. And what Raymond did is that Raymond murdered them. He stabbed them multiple times and they basically bled out and they died. This 47-year-old couple that just came to come investigate the commotion. And we also know that their son, a 16-year-old child, also was with them and he was also stabbed, but he managed to get away. He managed to lock himself into a room and he called the police and he called for help and Raymond fled. Now we know that Raymond was arrested the next day on the 28th of January and he was washing his blood-stained clothes. Raymond was washing his blood-stained clothes. He was literally caught red-handed. And we know that he abandoned his bail application and he essentially has been in prison since then. And he pled guilty, so he spared everyone a trial. This man is only 37 years old. He spared everyone a lengthy trial. And he has been sentenced to 2 life sentences, as well as I think 3 years for the attempted murder. And we know that in South Africa, a life sentence is not a life sentence. I'm pretty sure Raymond will be out in about 15 to 20 years. And comment below if you think that life sentences in South Africa need to be life. Essentially, when you come out of that prison, the only way you come out is in a coffin. Now, I've put together some tips for people who are selling their houses in South Africa, how to ensure safety. And unfortunately, if we live in South Africa, we have to do these things. We have to be super aware, no matter how good or how great this person comes across. So the first thing is always to screen potential buyers, verify ID and contact details, and avoid last minute or unusual requests to view the property alone. The second thing is basically never let them view the home alone. Always ensure that you have a family member with you, or even the real estate agent. That is their job, to come to every viewing with you to ensure that extra sense of safety. The third thing is to secure valuables. When you are taking pictures, or you have your real estate agent take pictures of your house, try not to include things like laptops and TVs, and make sure that, you know, a lot of your valuables are not included, because this is how Raymond targeted people. He would look at listings and he would see TVs and laptops that he liked, and he would just want to take them. The last thing is that limit property access. We know that Raymond came in at around 6 o'clock in the evening, and rather try and schedule things during daylight hours, and keep doors locked until the buyer arrives, and trust your instinct. If something feels off, if something feels wrong, that is your survival instinct telling you that something is wrong and that you have to trust it. My survival instinct has gotten me out of a few scary situations in my life. And I suggest that if your gut tells you it's wrong, rather trust your gut. And another thing is, have a plan for contacting the authorities if you feel threatened. For example, if you have an alarm system, keep your panic button with you. Keep it close by in case, you know, someone like Raymond tries to pull this act off. Now, if you like my content, please consider giving me a like and subscribe. And yeah, I'm going to be posting more on my YouTube, and comment below what other cases you would like me to cover.